Okay, everyone, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Market Wrap Up, where on the weekend, what I like to do, zoom out to weekly charts, get a look at where the market is, everything that's going on there, before next week, where I zoom back into daily charts and then start to make what I can out of the next large weekly candle and then rinse and repeat. So if you're new here, my name is Michael Nauss, Chartered Market Technician. I do this every single day for free. All you got to do is go to StatsEdgeTrading.com, sign up for the email list, or wherever you're seeing this video, just hit subscribe or follow or like or retweet or whatever. The algorithm loves that, and I appreciate that very much. Also, if you want my watch list that you can just copy and paste, import into trade ideas, you can find that by signing up to the email list. And while you're there, if you don't have trade ideas, give it a shot for Stats Edge 15 for 15% off. So without further ado, let's just get into the charts here. So we're going to start with Bitcoin, and holy crap, this thing is boring. But, you know, it is what it is. So I mentioned I have a little short in Bitcoin as we're kind of reversing off this level. Could just be a little bit of a bull flag that's going on here, but had a very hard time getting through kind of 31, 32,000. If you zoom out, you got your lows from right here. Little bit of action here, highs from here, and then highs from here. So massive level. Couldn't really get through it. Looks like it may be pulling off of it. Who knows? Kind of a break of this downtrend line, I think would be the major thing, right? If we can get to and through that, then I think we actually have a break on our hands. But we have a long way to go to even get to it, let alone through it. That's at like 28,000 right now, so it's another 10,000 points, 1,000 points. Sorry, down. So that is what it is. Now, a couple of the other charts that I was looking at. So we have Aussie yen. So Aussie yen hit this prior high right here, and then it hit that a couple weeks ago, and now it's just still been kind of bull flagging all the way down. Nice controlled sell-off, and now we're actually at this area right here. So if we're going to get a bounce and a lift off that, I'm going to be looking at Aussie yen to the long side to try to make sure I'm in the direction of that trade. Nothing really else to really talk about. The only thing that kind of struck me here is on pound dollar. This is where the breakdown really started, right from this area right here. We had this big breakdown, a bounce, a big breakdown, a bounce, and a big, right? So it really started when we broke this area right here. We've tapped that this week, and now it looks like we're reversing lower. So that's a very interesting one. And then, we have we have the yen also kind of bull flagging a little bit. And then we also have the, the Nikkei 225 that's also flagging as well. But that's it for the currencies. Now let's actually just pop in here to look at the individual ETFs, and then we'll get into some individual names. So looking here at the SPY, right, this is what happens in bull markets, right? You keep running up to resistance points and running up to resistance points, but we keep smashing through them, right? This 420 was a big area. We got through that. That's when I got like irresponsibly long. Came up. I've been kind of thinking we're going to rest or pull back for a bit. Looks like that's really not going to happen. We're just going to continue higher. So if that's going to happen, I'm going to continue to stay long. Now, this is a good time to say I will be out next week. So follow me on Twitter, Threads, Instagram, all of that. Just Google Michael Nauss CMT. You'll see all of that there. I'm not going to be at the charts, but now that Trade Ideas, little spoiler, has a site that works well on your phone, I can keep an eye on things and start tracking things as they go. So, maybe I'll do a post here or there. I'm going to try to stay away from the screens as much as I can, but make sure you're following those. And then the next video and the next email will be next week at the same time. I'll sit down on a Saturday or something and go through all of that to prepare for the week that I am back. So again, it's really nothing to say on the SPY, just rocketing. Now we have FXI and KWeb are both very interesting here. So FXI is, sorry, I have to reset my connection here because I was on doing a test. So it logs you off one thing, so I got to log back on here real quick. There we go. So we have FXI here, and FXI is your China large cap names. So with, large cap China, basically we had this anchored VWAP from this high right here. You can see it acted as resistance here, and then here, and then here, and then we blew through that and closed on this weekly candle. So I will be looking for pullbacks in China names to see if we can get a little push higher. If we can get a little push higher after a little bit of pullback in some China names, and there might be some good plays there. Also, oil, it's looking like the same kind of thing. But if we anchor it to this major high right here, right? People asking where to anchor the VWAPs from. Again, I did a lot of work with Brian and the product that we built at Trade Ideas. If you want to check that out, where it actually anchors the VWAP for you mathematically. So I had to study it a lot. And major turning points, right? I don't really mess around with these kind of minor turning points here, but this one you can see is a major turning point, right? Big, massive push up, and then just kind of completely fell apart after that. And, you know, the anchored VWAP from this level has been resistance for a long time. This is the first kind of, I would say, clean break of this in a while. So again, if we can get a little bit of a pullback, and if that VWAP starts to act as support and we start to push higher, oil plays are super interesting to me as well. Other thing I wanted to look at here is just ARK, and ARK is just interesting. You know, it's a very kind of rounded bottom type of look here, right? Nice kind of saucer bottom. Maybe we over 50, if we can get and clear over 50. This is my proxy for junk stocks, my proxy for, you know, junky little low float names or junky little unprofitable names, I should say. $50 seems like it's kind of a major level. If we can get through that, I think that one is super interesting. Something else to note here, XLE, and again, I go through these quick. All the screenshots are on the email list at StatsEdgeTrading. But the major weakness here in XLRE, which is our real estate, didn't get any bounce today with the rest of the market. So kind of got a line in the sand in real estate. If this continues lower, that could be a bearish sign for real estate. So some stuff that I did today, again, I've been lightening up a little bit, you know, preparing for the vacation. I have stops and everything. I'm still going to load up my phone and check each of my positions. I only trade on the close anyway, so that's really no big deal to look at it, you know, somewhere between 3 or 4 Eastern. So BBIO, basically we were playing this as an anchored VWAP from right before the gap. This is, again, my favorite setup when I see it just like this. You can see 1, 2, 3 bottoming tails in a row right at this. That's showing me that there is some buyer in that area. So as we kind of broke out today, somewhere in this area right here, I bought a little bit, you know, looking to see if we can get a continuation on this BBIO, and same with CBAY. So CBAY, I actually bought a little bit using that exact same play. Let me draw the anchored VWAP right here. So again, you could see the bottoming tails that were happening right at this anchored VWAP. Bought a little bit on this day, had a massive push up, and then it kept struggling to get through 12. So one of the times that it put in a topping tail, I think it was this day, through 12, I'm like, okay, get me out. Now that it's up and closed through 12, I bought some kind of right on the close right here as well. Only a couple that I've added. Again, all of these screenshots with all of the notes you can get. You can just import right into Trade Ideas. I only cover the ones that are new to make sure these aren't like 30-minute videos. One of them is AAL, and that is, again, I talked about major. You want to see major turning points, and I know that's a little bit subjective, but if you look at this, you can agree with me that this is a major turning point. 3 candles down in a row, and then just absolutely rockets higher. So to me, that's a very major turning point. We have a scan for this in Trade Ideas that looks for these major turning point events. Basically needs, I think, 10 candles to the left and 10 candles to the right to kind of make this a major turning point. It's coming back down, and look at all the weird action. If you look at these candles on AAL, we have, you know, doji and a doji and a doji and a doji. We have all this really, really weird action when it comes to what's going on here. So if we can get a bounce on this one, again, for when I'm on vacation, I'll probably just use stop limits to enter at certain areas. STLD, same kind of thing, except for this, you can see the major turning point is happening right here, right? So massive downtrend in STLD. Again, keep an eye on the weekly chart. We have these picture-in-picture charts here where it shows you a weekly chart on this side and a daily chart on this side. So the weekly chart, you can see obviously a very long-term uptrend in STLD, but it's been pulling back here, put in this major low and also a pretty high volume low as well. Comes higher, and then you can see this VWAP act as support here, act as support here, maybe acting as support here as well with some kind of bottoming action. So if we can get some continuation from here, that's where I will look for that one as well. So again, thank you all for coming. Wherever you're seeing this, please give a like, a resub, Twitter tweet, thumbs up, or whatever the hell it is on whatever social platform you're seeing this on. Come sign up for the email list. I thank you very much. I'm going to have a wonderful time off, and I hope you guys kind of get away from the screens a little bit too. And I'll see you next week.